It was quick, but not painless. The Devils' worst loss to the Rangers in more than 18 years lasted just a dozen minutes for Cory Schneider. 3 goals on 6 shots faced led to an early seat on the bench. Tonight, the rematch, and a final chance to beat the Rangers before the season concludes. For the Devils, it's about pride. For their goaltender and best player this year, it's about redemption. Devils-Rangers, next.
Tonight's game between the Devils and Rangers is part of the Tri-State Challenge presented by Mazda. We're live at Prudential Center for the last Metropolitan Division matchup of the season and the last home game of the year. The rematch against the Rangers is straight ahead. There are hockey games all across the MSG networks tonight, including coverage of this one on MSG with Sam Rosen and Joe Micheletti. The Islanders are in Philadelphia to take on the Flyers. MSG.com has your channel listings for MSG Plus 2. Glad you're with us for Game 80 right here on MSG Plus. The Devils will finish in Florida, but first, one last home game. It is Fan Appreciation Night. We go to our pair who will call it. It's Steve Cangelosi and Ken Danico.
Thanks a lot. Good evening, Deb. The Rangers can win the President's Trophy with a victory tonight. For the Devils, after 6-1 on Saturday, what's at stake for them, Dano?
Simply put, pride, Steve. This is your arch rival. I know there's a lot of pride in the New Jersey Devil locker room. They didn't like the way the last game went in New York. Doesn't matter where you are in the standings. Anytime these two teams meet, there's a lot at stake. I expect a real good effort from the New Jersey Devils tonight.
It's been almost 2 decades since they've been swept in a season series by the Rangers. What do they have to correct from Saturday?
Well, uncharacteristically, everything's about the goals, but defensively, they made some mistakes, and they're subtle, and it's correctable. John Merrill, Damon Severson, there's going to be nights like this. They had a tough night, both -4. Now, look, this looks like nothing went wrong there, but they just got out of position a little. John Merrill, when he's on his game, he blocks that pass or gets position on Nash. Look at here. Both guys in position. It's basically a 1-on-2. Puck gets chipped by Merrill. Damon Severson right here makes a decision to go for the puck. All he has to do is stay in the lane, stay patient, and there's no damage. You can't make a play from the corner or score from the corner, so those are the little things happen. Then off the draw here, I thought it was Boucher. They didn't block out. He ended up doing a pretty good job. Now Severson and Merrill hesitate. Nobody gets a loose puck. The Rangers pick it up. That's after the Devils won a draw. So it was all subtle little things that are correctable. Damon Severson gets on the wrong side again, doesn't get the body or the stick of Dominic Moore. He's got to put him on his hip there. This is part of learning for young guys, and more importantly, it's how do they bounce back? You're going to have games like that. Nobody's perfect. It wasn't just those two guys, but it was one of those nights that they have to learn from and move forward. I think they're going to be big tonight.
The lowest point total for a Devils leading scorer in a full season is the 55 points scored by Aaron Broughton in their very first year in New Jersey. That record's about to be broken. The Devils' leading scorer coming into tonight is Adam Henrique, who's collected 41 points. So this is hardly a breakout season for Adam, but he's been the Devils' best in terms of point production. 2012, this was a clutch performer. 3 of his 5 goals in the playoffs were game winners. He spoke confidently yesterday. The Devils will be back on that stage.
He's one of the leaders of this New Jersey Devils hockey club. Does he want more production offensively? Yeah, but he leads the team. I think it's a product of this team having a tough time finding the net. He does score big goals. He's always around that. Such a great two-way player. I've said it many times. Adam Henrique is the most important forward on this hockey club. And who's going to ever forget this right here in 2012 when Adam Henrique scored that historic goal to send them to the Stanley Cup Finals 3 years ago. That was against this same team they're playing tonight, the New York Rangers. Adam Henrique is saying exactly what you want all their players to say and have that kind of attitude. We'll be back next year, and we'll be better.
We're ready to go. And offensively for the Rangers, they're led by this guy, 42-goal scorer Rick Nash. His 32 even-strength goals lead the NHL. Can New Jersey contain the man having a career year? Devils-Rangers, the rematch next.
Welcome back. Deb Placey along with John McClain. The Rangers scored 3 times in the first 12.5 minutes on Saturday. So what about the start tonight?
Well, you know what? They have to have the same start with the same energy, but they can't trade chances with the Rangers. That's what happened. They were a little too excited, tried to go back and forth. Rangers are a high-powered team. Devils have to get back to their defensive ways, but keep the energy that they started with and then take it for 60 minutes.
Lou Lamoriello was talking about how impressed he was with the way the Rangers skate. Is that part of it?
Yeah, that's part of it. The Devils definitely aren't as fast as the Rangers, so they have to play a little more guarded game defensively, but offensively they got their chances. They can still do that. They just have to be a little more aware of their third man and not getting caught, odd man rushes, which they did early.
Devils got 36 shots on goal in that game Saturday. Henrik Lundqvist made 35 saves. It's Cam Talbot tonight, guys.
Thanks a lot, Deb. Saturday marked the 8th time this season he was pulled from a game, and Corey Schneider said afterwards, "It's on me to be better." This is his 68th appearance of the season. On this fan appreciation night, the fans here know about 60 of those games he played were highly appreciated. He's been terrific for the most part. At the opposite end of the ice, how did the Rangers endure Henrik Lundqvist's 25-game absence? You're looking at the reason. 16 of those 20 wins for Cam Talbot came in the time Lundqvist was hurt, Kenny.
There was not much drop-off. In fact, none at all when Cam Talbot has been in the net for the New York Rangers. He's been a terrific 1A for them, so another good goaltending matchup. And I love what Corey Schneider said, because you know what? It shows me leadership. Look, those goals weren't all his fault, but he has high expectations of himself. He will be sharp tonight, in my opinion.
Underway tonight at Prudential Center. For the Devils, this is game 80. Also for New York. Final road trip sends them to Tampa and Florida. Final chance before the home crowd here tonight. On the heels of a 6-1 Ranger win just a few nights ago, Carl Hagelin, backhander, and there's Schneider with his first save.
You see Corey Schneider very tight there, not much movement, and he bails out his defenseman there. Carl Hagelin showing terrific speed there. He's going to get behind a lot of defense, although he didn't have much of an angle on Corey Schneider. Let's look here. And this is what the Rangers do. They just chip pucks out because they know they got speedsters to skate under it. And there it's Carl Hagelin, one of the faster guys in the National Hockey League. But Corey Schneider gives him nothing to shoot at there. As you see, he's very tight. And maybe that was one of his weaknesses last game. He got a little loose in the net, moving a little bit, but we've seen him all season long play more sound like that. Corey Schneider's been terrific.
Rangers get to the loose puck again. Derek Stepan sends it across for a cutting J.T. Miller. Punched out of the zone by Dinas Zubris. Tonight's lineups are brought to you by Infinity, luxury cars that deliver inspired performance. Same Devils lineup that we saw Saturday. For the Rangers, the change is on the top line. Matt Zuccarello is sitting this one out with soreness. Maybe a maintenance day, maybe something more. James Shepard is in the New York lineup here tonight after sitting the last 3. Keith Yandel on the puck will play this to the stick of Derek Brassard. So it's Jesper Fast, number 19 in white, getting a chance with Brassard and Rick Nash on New York's top line tonight.
Steve, we go back to last game, 6-1 score. I agree with Corey Schneider. It's not indicative of the game. Devils had about 4 quality chances at 0-0.
Shot by Jelena, blocked away by Talbot. Loose in front, taken here by Jordan Tutu and punched back. We get a stoppage in play, and our first penalty of the night is a high stick.
Looks like Mike Camilleri is going off for high sticking. Let's take a look at the penalty. In front. Oh boy, that's unfortunate, because Mike Camilleri doesn't even realize it's more Ryan McDonough skating into him. I know you have to be in control of your stick, but he was losing his balance there, Steve, looking for a rebound or a tip. So tough call on Mike Camilleri as the Devils go on the PK early on.
Off the draw, controlled by New Jersey, and here's Adam Larson. Devils' penalty kill has risen through the ranks after that difficult start to the season. It enters tonight top half in the National Hockey League, 15th overall. They were 30th roughly a month and a half into the season. Derek Stepan on the power play here, slowed up by one of the Devils' ace penalty killers, Jacob Josephson. He heads to the bench. Reinforcements come on. Chris Kreider over the line for New York. Marty St. Louis at the side of the net lost control of the puck. And we get another penalty coming up. Adam Larson and Chris Kreider with a couple of exchanges.
Feisty early on, I felt. Last game in New York, you have to do something to change the tempo. As Devils need to play feisty, but not go to the penalty box as Adam Larsson now goes. It looks like he's going to get a high sticking call as well. Oh, it's an elbow on Marty St. Louis. You like the aggressiveness. You like him finishing his man. Marty St. Louis not big in stature. That might have had something to do with the elbow getting up high. Adam Larsson just finishing his check there. It is an elbow call and a penalty. And there you see Kreider and Larsson get together. So a little bit going on here early on as far as aggressiveness.
And a quick clearance by Patrick Elias. So a minute 20 now to go in this 5-on-3 power play for New York. Elias, Andy Green, and Mark Fraser, the trio on for New Jersey. Punched across, taken here by Ryan McDonough. The Ranger captain works it across for Keith Yandle. Ranger power play for the longest time has been a sore spot for them. Yandle brought into the equation to help rectify that. Marty St. Louis works it back to Yandle, walks in, shoots, that's blocked away, save made by Schneider, and he reaches out and covers.
Corey Schneider with the save right there. I mean, Yandle had all kinds of time. He shoots it into Schneider, but again, Corey not getting a whole lot of net to find. You see Keith Yandle fakes the shot. He's such a good offensive heads-up player from the back end, and Corey Schneider able to make the save, but you notice how compact he is, Steve. There's no holes early on here.
Brassard takes the draw. Travis Zajac comes on to continue the kill. We'll do this one more time as it came back to Dan Boyle. 48 seconds on the 5-on-3. Not too early to call this a pivotal moment in the game. Boyle is at the point, has it for New York. Dishes to the circle, gets it back from Nash. Boyle works it down low. Stepan whisked it across, got by everyone. Zajac on the puck and backhands it away.
Huge clear, good alertness from Travis Zajac to get to that errant pass.
Boyle starts up again for New York. Here's Boyle, able to gain the zone. Stepan works it across, and now Brassard plays it back to Yandle. Boyle dishes off, controlled here by New York. Here's Derek Stepan, the hero last night for the Rangers, playing catch behind goal. Boyle off his stick, and it comes out to center.
Huge moment, only 4 seconds left in the two-man advantage as Boyle bobbles the puck out of his own.
Camilleri's out of the box. The power play is 5-on-4. Green hammers it away, and the puck deflects out. Face off in the Devils' end.
So far, so good on the penalty kill for the Devils. As we look at head coach of the New York Rangers, Alain Vigneault, not much else you can say about the job he's done this season as they're on the verge of winning the President's Trophy. But his concern as a coach is that's the regular season. Going in the playoffs, they want to take that next step. But I give Alain Vigneault a lot of credit with his calm demeanor. He's done a great job with this talented team.
His team continues on the power play. McDonough at the point. Gives here to Dan Girardi. Ranger defenseman holds at the circle. Girardi back to McDonough. He fires, blocked away. Henrique on the penalty kill, filling the lane there, kicks it out of the zone.
Sacrifice from Adam Henrique. That one had to sting as he took the blast just above the foot. The Devils kill the 5-on-3. Great start after a couple of unfortunate penalties, in my opinion.
One shot on the man advantage for New York, that's all. Bouncing puck, St. Louis can't control. Scott Gomez works it across, and now Bernier dumps in for New Jersey. Cam Talbot.
Sorry, Steve. Let's see if that can lift the Devils. I mean, something like that can really spark your team. Killing a 5-on-3 for over a minute. And I like the aggressiveness of New Jersey. But, yeah, you have to stay out of the penalty box. And both penalties, I feel that, Camilleri off balance and Adam Larsson just being aggressive. And he ended up getting his elbow up just a little bit high in St. Louis.
Tuomo Ruutu into the Rangers' end. Pass by Reed Boucher. Tough puck to handle for Eric Shellenov. Busting loose is Tanner Glass. Plays it into the Devils' zone. New Jersey works it behind the net. Fraser plays it ahead. And Boucher on the move. Dishes across. Here's Tuomo Ruutu. Plays it deep into the Ranger end. Boucher with a hit on defenseman Matt Hunwick. A little bit of a changed look for the Devils. Boucher playing with Ruutu and Josephson here at the start tonight. Dominic Moore dishes into the Devils' end where it's controlled here by Schneider. Opening 5.5 minutes of a scoreless game here at the Rock. Jelena smoked out. Zajac just deflects out of play, and the faceoff will come outside the zone. Well, Lou Lamoriello was asked tonight about Saturday's game. He responded, what game was that? I asked if this was a night in which the bench watches closely to how young players respond to a poor night. You touched on it at the start. Merrill and Severson each -4. He seemed to have every confidence in their character that they don't let that carry over to the very next game.
It's all a learning process. Look, ask any player in the National Hockey League, even star guys, and they've had tough nights where your timing's just a little off. It's never as bad as you think. And these two guys are a big part of this future and have had great years for the Devils in the back end. But you learn from nights like that, and I think they're going to bounce back as well.
Merrill had a -5 earlier this year against Pittsburgh. That 8-3 loss back in October. Rebounded from that just fine. Picked up here by Camilleri. The intercept in the Rangers zone. Devils complete the change. See what they make of this. Camilleri looks for some space. Throws it towards goal. Saved by Talbot. And the follow-up try sent into the corner. Another stoppage in play, and we'll step aside. 6.5 to go. Here in the first, we're scoreless at the Rock.
Tonight's Cold Hard Facts are brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Let's take a look, Steve, at the all-time record between these two teams, the Devils and Rangers, and it's pretty tight. 85, 80, and 28 are the New Jersey Devils. There you see at home and away, or at home anyway, 54, 35, and 8. But 0-4-1 in their last 5 as the Rangers have had the Devils number. And that's why it's a rivalry. See how tight that is from the inception of the Devils in 1982 when they came here to New Jersey. There's been a lot of good games between these two clubs.
Devils have not been swept in the regular season by New York since 93-94. As we watch Adam Henrique put the brakes on, they were 0-for-6 against the Rangers that year, and then you guys beat them 3 times in the playoffs. Here's Kreider. Puck taken away by Gomez. Glove down by Kevin Hayes, who works it out to center, and it's taken here by Jelena.
You mentioned that, Steve, in 1994, we're 0-6 in the regular season. That was the difference in the President's Trophy. They had finished with 112. We finished second with 106 points. We win 2 of those games, and we win the President's Trophy, but had a heck of a series in the Eastern Conference Finals that year, obviously.
Kreider drops it back. Hunwick's shot deflected off J.T. Miller. Picked up here by the Devils and Stefan Matteau. Slowed up by Miller, now works his way into the Rangers' end. Here's Matteau going wide, pass across, broken up by New York. Larson reaching out, sends a Ranger hurling to the ice. That's Derek Stepan. Puck taken here by Elias, and a centering try from Matteau. Wouldn't go.
I really like the snarl of Adam Larson. That's how you get engaged in this rivalry, and you can see Adam Larson, one of the guys not happy with what happened in New York a couple of nights ago. He's been pretty nasty out there tonight, and you want to play with an edge.
Worked across here, and the puck came outside for an offside to stoppage in play.
Well, you see Eric Jelena at the point with a quick wrist shot, and Carl Hagelin comes out to block it. Looks like he took that in the top of the foot. Oh, yeah, the left foot there. He's in agony. There's certain areas on your body and foot. These guys all in the National Hockey League sacrifice their bodies. You see how many guys get in the lane and block shots. Not just 1 or 2 guys like way back in the day, but everybody does. Carl Hagelin was hurting there, and the Rangers are hoping he'll be okay.
He and John Merrill were college teammates at Michigan back in 2010-2011. Icing call here is against the Rangers, and there is the man from Sweden, age 26, 4th season. He was a 4-year player at the University of Michigan, Carl Hagelin. What great speed.
I was going to say, there's a guy that can't afford a foot injury with all that speed he has, because that's one of the advantages to his game, is being able to beat a lot of defensemen to loose pucks.
Fraser at the point, wrist shot fired wide. Picked up here by Tuomo Ruutu, sends it towards goal. Talbot had to make a stop. Picked up here by Boucher for New Jersey. Guided back to Jelena. His shot off the backboard. Glass looks to punch it out of the zone. Rangers with 3 of the first 5 shots. Josephson right back on the attack here. Jacob Josephson works it behind the net. Tuomo Ruutu. Bumped by Boyle, and the Rangers come away with the puck. Skated away by Derek Brassard. And Jelena is back to collect this. So the Rangers are seeking a 5th straight win. A victory of any kind would clinch the President's Trophy for them, which has been awarded since 1986 to the team with the highest point total in the National Hockey League. How important is that? The Cup champion has been the President's Trophy winner 8 times in that span. That's all. 3 times in the last 5 years, the President's Trophy winner has been eliminated in the first round. Taken away by Zajac here, knocked off his stick by Girardi.
Well, it's a special accomplishment, a long, grueling season, 82 games, but you're right, Steve. It doesn't mean you're guaranteed anything come playoff time.
Zajac's tried, deflected out of play. 10:31 to go in the first.
As we look at that man in net who's had an awful lot of work this season, Corey Schneider. 3 goals on his first 6 shots. We've touched on that. He's been good early on here, especially on the 5-on-3 the Rangers had. But he's been good all season long, and you cannot help but commend his attitude and the way he approaches each game, and kind of a spokesperson for this team, showing leadership that he puts a lot on his own shoulders. Doesn't point the finger ever. That's leadership to me, and Corey Schneider has a lot of it.
Hayes, after a big collision at center ice, drops this off to Hunwick, throws it in front, and there's a stop by your man Corey Schneider. Gomez, tied up in the corner by Hagelin, dishes across here to John Merrill. The ironic thing about the 6-1 loss, 36 shots by the Devils. That was their 2nd highest total of the season. Going back to the Rangers, 109. A victory tonight would make it 111, and they would win any tiebreaker, even if Anaheim won out from that point and the Rangers lost their 2 remaining games. Alain Vigneault didn't seem all that concerned with doing this tonight and being able just to get his ducks in a row over the last week in preparation for the playoffs. He was just focused on this game against New Jersey. That's all. He wanted to leave the rest and the prize itself to another day. Green steps in and defends that for the Devils. Bouncing puck. Kreider trying to find the handle. So is JT Miller, but it comes to Elias instead. Green stopped by Stepan. Works it across, and the pass just by the stick of Kreider. Collected by Stepan. Lost control of the puck. Now that try is blocked away and taken by Elias.
Devils much more solid in their own end, positioning-wise, Steve, as you see them block those shots, where last game on the onslaught where they gave up 6, everything was just a split second off, and that's all it takes. And the Rangers were able to find some holes and capitalize on some chances.
Cam Talbot settles a bouncing puck at his crease. Will step aside. No score at Prudential Center.
Here's your chance to win New Jersey Devils tickets and a Travis Zajac signed jersey in the WDHA Devils Watch and Win sweepstakes. Listen to the Morning Jolt on 105.5 WDHA tomorrow morning at 9:20. Remember, the WDHA player to watch, Patrick Elias, to call in for your chance to win.
With 32 points, he is likely to finish with his lowest point total in a full season since 1997-98, when he was 21 years old, Patrick Elias. He speaks as if he will be one of the more motivated players when this team regroups in the fall. He believes he has another big year left in him. He'll turn 39 in April. Shot by Jelena is blocked out of play.
On the other end of the spectrum, young Reed Boucher had 4 shots against the Rangers and had some chances against Steve, so he's getting himself in position. He's getting his shot off. He's hitting the net, and he just hopes those pucks start to go in. Here's a guy that the Devils are hoping can provide some of that offense missing this year. As he gains confidence and becomes a regular, they're hoping in the National Hockey League for the Devils in this lineup.
In the corner, Reed Boucher is with Tuomo Ruutu. Rangers, though, work it across, and McDonough with the outlet pass. Able to pick up Dominic Moore. Here's Moore from the circle, threw it across. Cutting in front was Tanner Glass. Back the other way come the Devils and Ruutu. Dominic Moore, one of 5 Rangers to have a multiple-point game against New Jersey in the game on Saturday night, as Yandel works it across. Here's Matt Hunwick. Fires into the Devils' end. Picked up here. Schneider dishes off. Severson punches it ahead, and Jordan Tutu plays it across. Here's Camilleri, able to gain the zone. Fakes a shot, works it across for Zajac, and it got by everyone. Deflects off the referee in the corner. Ian Walsh there. And 3 Devils now bunch up, try to take control of the puck. Tutu does some dirty work. Nash able to dish it across. Merrill tried to one-hand it back. Here comes Rick Nash streaking down the left side. That shot fought off by Schneider. Nets off the mooring for a stoppage in play.
Well, there you see Corey Schneider again against one of the best goal scorers in the league, and Rick Nash flying down the left side, looks to go upstairs. Short side, not a whole lot to shoot at, but if there's a guy that can find the spot, it's Nash with 41 goals on the year. And there you see Corey Schneider hugging that post. He is so in position right now, and you love the focus. He mentioned he didn't bail any of his teammates out from mistakes that were made, so it wasn't all Corey Schneider, and he gave up 3 goals. There's going to be nights like that. You're never going to be perfect, so it's no need to worry. But tonight, so far, Corey Schneider really focused and making some big saves.
Shot off the draw, stopped again by Schneider, off J.T. Miller's stick. And the Rangers get it back in deep. Kreider is on the puck here for New York. Boyle across for Mark Stahl. That shot blocked away by Corey Schneider again. J.T. Miller knocked down by Zubris. Puck taken away by Elias, who darts back the other way. He's got Stefan Matteau with him, and it's knocked off the stick of Patrick Elias. So much better for Corey Schneider. By this point in the game Saturday night, he allowed 3, and he was out of the game.
And there's been a couple of better chances even tonight, but you knew with Corey Schneider's character and the year he's had.
Kreider with a bullet. That went wide. Yandel at the opposite point. Behind the net, Stepan. Derek Stepan holds, gives here to Miller. Stepan again. Centering try. Got by Hagelin. Comes back to the point. Yandel fires away, and a save by Schneider. 8th save of the game for Corey Schneider. Miller works it across. Rangers play it in front for Stepan. Another save by Schneider. Played back. Boyle holds up on the shot. Dishes off. Rangers execute a change. It's taken here by Hagelin. Dishes to the circle. Good pressure by New York here as it's played into the corner. Hayes centering try. Quick shot. Oh, and a save by Schneider on Marty St. Louis.
Well, what a goaltending display on this shift. You mentioned the pressure by the Rangers in the Devils zone. Boy, were they singing that puck around. And they got a change as well. Devils got tired. There's the first save from the blast from Keith Yandel off the blocker. Then Boyle finds Stepan. He's able to pick up that puck. Doesn't get the great opportunity, but here's the last chance. St. Louis set up beautifully in front. And Corey Schneider with a monster save there. Boy, Devils got to get the puck out of their zone. But you just knew he would be mentally prepared for this game, didn't you? After last game, Steve. And he has been the difference right now in this first period, Corey Schneider.
He's had to be, Kenny. Loose in front. Quick shot. They score. Kevin Hayes cleaned up in front. And on the Rangers' 11th shot of the game, now out shooting the Devils 11-2, they take the lead.
And this is on the Devils' defense right here. They get the poke pucked away from them, and it ends up right here. You see both defense get caught behind the net. Got to make a little quicker decision with the puck. See Hagelin pokes the puck away from Jell, and Mark Fraser's stuck behind the net as well. And it gets a fortunate bounce right to Kevin Hayes, all alone in front. Everything that could go wrong there did, but a little quicker decision with the puck. Right now, the Rangers are using that speed and quickness as they're able to cause a turnover right there behind the Devils' net. Nobody in front for Hayes. Rangers take a 1-0 lead. And Corey Schneider did everything in his power beforehand to keep this game at 0-0 at the time.
That'll be Kevin Hayes' 16th goal of the season. See what response the Devils have. McDonough works it ahead. Shelina collects here at center and fires back in. Girardi across for James Shepard, the 26-year-old, acquired at the deadline from San Jose by the Rangers for some depth at wing. Shelina lost control of the puck, tangled up, and there's a penalty coming up here. This is against the Devils again. It's Josephson going to the box. We'll set up a Ranger power play next.
Back at ice level right at this face-off circle to the left of Corey Schneider. Marty St. Louis had an animated conversation with Kevin Hayes, told him exactly what he wanted him to do, and apparently it worked. So the Rangers are up 1-0. But stay with us for the GMC Intermission Report. You've heard of VIPs. Johnny Mac, John McClain has some MIPs, some awards, as the Devils play their last home game of the season. On the GMC Intermission Report, guys, looking forward to seeing you then.
Thanks a lot, Deb. The Hayes goal assisted by St. Louis and Hagelin at 13:45. Yandel drops it back. McDonough fakes one shot, fires and scores on a wrist shot. Ryan McDonough for a 2-0 Ranger lead.
Well, Devils have been hemmed in their zone here the last couple of minutes, and they've the Rangers have made the Devils pay. This is on a power play. Ryan McDonough with the nice little fake shot, able to get himself in position and open the lane with the quick wrist shot, gets it toward the net. Nash providing the screen in front of Corey Schneider, and this puck gets through to make it 2-0 Rangers.
8th goal of the season for Ryan McDonough to extend the lead. So Josephson went off for hooking, and the Devils pay a quick price for that. And now Stepan works it to center ice. Critical point in the game here for New Jersey to respond as Talbot has it behind his goal. Puck taken here by Stefan Matteau. His pass collected by Miller, who works it away for New York. Rangers with 8 shots in less than a 2-minute span, and there's Kreider trying to extend the lead, and Schneider made the stop with the pad. Guided back to the point. Boyle's shot. That stopped by Schneider as well. Firing range now in the Devils' end. Taken here by New York. Coming out in front more, and Schneider fights that off.
Our Rangers have a lot of energy in getting the loose pucks, using their quickness in the Devils' zone, giving them all kinds of fits.
Gomez over the line, sends it to the corner for Adam Henrique. Puck taken here by Steve Bernier. Collected by Gomez. Puck deflects away. Here's Adam Henrique for New Jersey. Tries to get a shot away. It's blocked away in front by Boyle. Centering try got by Henrique. Back to Fraser at the point, and he hammers that off the glass behind Cam Talbot. Mark Fraser again. Under pressure, able to send it in deep, and the puck taken by Stahl, who banks it away. Under 4 minutes left, it's icing against the Rangers. The only Devils goal Saturday was changed to his in the aftermath of the game. Jacob Josephson was on the ice for just one Rangers goal in 13:43 of ice time. Seems to me against a fast team, he's a guy you want to play a lot. Jacob Josephson has the legs. Steven Gianta, another guy I'd put into that category, not back yet from a back injury, Kenny.
Yeah, against speed teams like New York, and we've seen not only foot races the length of the ice, but we're talking even quickness around the net. That's what's happened here on the first 2 Ranger goals, where they strike very quickly, and the Devils have found themselves in penalty trouble. It always gets you on your heels. But Corey Schneider has done everything in the goal to keep this at a reasonable pace here, but the Rangers able to get a couple by him after some spectacular saves early on.
Here's Glass tying up Andy Green. Penalty now coming up against the Rangers, and Schneider heads to the bench. We'll set up the Devils' first power play of the night here as Green got slowed up on the far side.
It'll be Tanner Glass going to the penalty box for the New York Rangers.
15 New York, 2 minutes holding.
Seeing the neutral zone on Andy Green. Tanner Glass gets that left hand just on the waist of Andy Green, enough to get a holding call, and the Devils get themselves a power play. And this is an important part of this game, Steve. Down 2, and it's been an onslaught the last 5 minutes. New York Rangers have had probably 8 or 9 of those shots of the 16 they've had in the first in the last 3 or 4 minutes of this game. Now the Devils on the power play, looking to cut the lead to 1.
Off the draw, it's collected here by Zajac. Now the faceoff wasn't in the Rangers' end at the conclusion of it. There was an icing call against the Devils at the tail end of play. Picked up here, Josephson tries to gain the zone. McDonough slowed him up. Picked up here by Zajac and taken by New Jersey. Personnel for the Devils on the power play. Damon Severson, Zajac, Henrique, Josephson, Jordan Tootoo. The quintet on the ice as it's worked ahead by Travis. Jarred loose by Henrique. 2-2 on the puck here for the Devils. Works it across. Collected by Josephson. Couldn't hold on cleanly. Taken away by the Rangers. Short-handed. Stepan plays it deep into the Devils' end.
See, I like what Damon Severson did there. He recognized.
Stahl plays it ahead. Schneider gets rid of it.
Going back to that, Steve. Damon Severson, you know, they gave up a shorthanded goal last game to Derek Stepan. Well, he saw Josephson lost the puck. Instead of taking a risk and trying to pinch a little bit, he got right back on his horse and backpedaled, so there was no outnumbered situation or breakaway for Derek Stepan, which there would have been. So that's part of the learning process compared to last game for Damon Severson.
Jelena across. Camilleri now on. Plays it back to Jelena. The dish to Camilleri. Those two play catch. They can each shoot it. Scott Gomez can pass it. Played in front. They score! Picture perfect. Patrick Elias with the finish. Power play goal, and the Devils get back in at 2-1.
Just what the doctor ordered for the New Jersey Devils as they were on their heels the last 5 or 7 minutes of this first period. It was all New York Rangers using their speed, scoring on the power play, but the Devils get one back right here. So important late in this first period. Good puck movement. The triangle up high. Jelena Gomez goes down low to Bernier. You see Camilleri and Jelena and Gomez working it nice up high. Bernier wide open down low, and he feeds Patrick Elias in the slot. He's able to bury it past Cam Talbot. Real nice executed goal there by New Jersey. Let's see if that lifts them, Steve, and they can carry it on the next shift here.
Hagelin over the line, and his shot saved by Schneider. Taken here by Josephson. Here come the Devils again. 2 minutes left in the first. Gets around his man Dan Girardi and keeps it alive with a stick of Matteau. Here's Stepan Matteau in for Josephson. Oh, Talbot looked behind him, but the puck is caught up in his equipment.
Now we got a lot of punches thrown as the Rangers net's knocked off the moorings. Cam Talbot standing there out of the crease. Matteau's involved and seemed to give the Devils some life. That power play goes. They have a great chance to tie it up. Let's look at the first goal for the Devils on the power play. Bernier and Elias wide open in the house area right in front of Cam Talbot. The Rangers get two spread out. Devils executed beautifully. And then Matteau with the nice saucer pass shortly after to Jacob Joseph. Cam Talbot comes up huge, or this game is tied, so it has turned in a hurry. Good response from the Devils here, down one.
Elias from Bernier and Gomez at 17:44.
Now you see the pushing and shoving and the rivalry coming back. That part gets me fired up, Steve. I know the game's evolved a little bit, but there's got to be nastiness. This game has to be played with passion, and there's going to be some physicality to it. There you saw in front of the Rangers net, both teams battling hard.
Chopped at by Green, picked up here by Camilleri. On the Devils' goal, there are some plays you wish you could give 4 assists. Everybody touched the puck. They worked it around the perimeter beautifully. Hauled down at center, Camilleri. Played here by Talbot.
You usually have success, don't you, when all 5 guys touch the puck the way they did on the power play. And beautiful passing play execution on the Devil goal.
Walking in more, and a shot that's fought off by Schneider. He's faced 18 Rangers shots in this opening period. McDonough quickly ahead. Moore backhands it in, and Larson back to give chase. Minute to go in a rather eventful first period.
Speaking of that physical rivalry, I just saw Jordan Tutu and Tanner Glass before they went off the ice exchange pleasantries, so look for those two to maybe get engaged.
Henrique with a shot off the glass behind Talbot and into the netting for a stoppage in play.
Well, everybody around the National Hockey League talks about the speed of the New York Rangers, and look no further than we just talked a lot about Carl Hagelin in this first period. Him using speed. Well, how about Chris Kreider? 4-game point streak. He's really rolling lately. Steve, a goal and 4 assists. He's had a real good year. He's big, he's strong, and he can motor. And for me, watching him, his brain has caught up with his legs, because you saw early on in his career where sometimes that wasn't always the case. But he's thinking the game as well much better and playing very well this year for the Rangers. A key guy for them heading into the playoffs.
Here's Nash motoring in. Another key guy. Works it across. Deflects up high. Punched ahead by the Devils, and now collected here by Elias. Didn't get much on the pass for Severson. And back in the Rangers zone, it's taken here by Derek Brassard. 20 seconds left, opening period of play. Back in the Devils' end, John Merrill to collect this. Intercept by J.T. Miller. Played back towards the point, looking for the redirect. Brassard and got by his stick. Punched ahead by Miller. Final seconds of the period. And after one at the Rock, Devils trail the Rangers 2-1. They were outshot 19-4 in the opening period of play. John's Awards for 2014-15 and more straight ahead. Sign up now to reserve your group's priority for the 2015-16 season and be in the best position to select your game, seat location, and fan experience, such as post-game group photo on the ice or a concourse performance. Visit NewJerseyDevils.com/groups or call 973-757-6250 to speak to a group event specialist. So this is the home finale. We're saying goodbye to the home fans here at The Rock, and we are saying goodbye to our longtime technical director after 14 seasons on the job. We're going to miss him. Jason Love, this is his final telecast. Next stop for him, well-deserved, a director at the MLB Network. Here's Jason in action. He works in coordination with our director, our producer, to bring you all the slick shots that make Dano and I look so smart during the course of a 2.5-hour telecast. And I can say this, you last 14 years in our truck, much like Elizabeth Seton, you should be nominated for sainthood. And Jason Love has stood the test of time. Happy trails, my friend, and best of luck to you as baseball season begins at another level.
Those are the guys that really make it work, the people in the truck. I had no clue when I got into broadcasting what they have to go through down there. But Jason, a great guy, and we wish him the best.
Jason, go get him. The Devils with a strong response after the Rangers dominated much of the first period. And where are we now, Dano? Down one.
Well, go figure. Devils get outshot 19-4. They're only down one. They outshoot the Rangers 13-8 in New York in the first period a couple of nights ago, and they're down 3-0. You never know. Shots aren't always indicative, but yes, the Rangers really did dominate parts of the first period, and a lot of that because the Devils got themselves into penalty trouble. They got to stay on the box. They came very close late to tying the game up, but they did cut the lead in half, and I would expect the Devils to pick up where they left off late in the first period, where they found their footing a little bit. The Rangers used a lot of speed in the first and were able to take over a lot of that period.
Underway to start the second, and Dan Boyle back in his own end. Puck squirted in front. Kevin Hayes able to pick that up and work it across from Marty St. Louis. St. Louis scoring a big goal last night for the Rangers in their 4-3 win over Columbus in overtime. Losing control of the puck was New York. Mark Stahl whisked right back in, and there's Hayes. That long reach, the 6'5" center, taken away by the Devils, and back the other way comes Scott Gomez. Puts the brakes on, works it across. Bernier will take it off the boards. Fourth and final meeting of the season. Rangers have won the first 3, and they've won the last 5 head-to-head meetings between the teams. Offside is the call here against New Jersey. The race for the Rocket Richard Trophy, let's be honest, it's a one-man race. Alexander Ovechkin has a 10-goal lead on Rick Nash and Steven Stamkos. And yet, look at the year Rick Nash has had. Last night, Kenny, he became just the 3rd player in the league to register over 300 shots. Ovechkin and Max Pacioretty are the other 2.
Well, he's had, I don't want to say a bounce-back year, but I guess that's what you have to call it, because he's the dominant force he was back in Columbus. And it's took him some time in New York. Injuries have played a part of that as far as not producing offensively as much, but this year he's been a dominant force, a power forward to be reckoned with.
Here's Henrique with a shot. Glove save. Talbot holds on.
And I did say it was 41 goals, I think, at the start of this period. I want to correct myself. I know he scored the 42nd against the New Jersey Devils a couple of nights ago. Mark Fraser, the physical, tough guy for the New Jersey Devils. You have to really commend him battling his way back to the National Hockey League in an era where the game has changed. He's an old-school defenseman who plays physical, sticks up for teammates. And I think for the most part, when he plays within his limitations, he's done a real good job here, Steve. I still love and think you need some nastiness in the back end. Fraser brings that.
How about John McClain on the pregame show talking about Fraser as the most improved player on the team? I didn't think he would go there. It's admirable, but Mark did, to get back in the National Hockey League and play more than semi-regularly for the Devils. And to his credit, here he is finishing up strong.
He is, and we'll see if there's a spot for him next year.
Camilleri dishes across. Quick shot, 2-2 save by Talbot. Loose in front. Kicked out by the Rangers and collected here by Nash.
Good opportunity there for New Jersey. The Camilleri line, and now 2-2 back to Sajak here is in this game anyway, Steven. You saw them connect. We've seen them do some good things a couple of weeks ago.
Brassard back to the point. McDonough for Nash. Quick shot deflected wide of Schneider's net. On the puck, Jesper Fast gives it up. Poked away by Zajac. Here's McDonough firing again, and that's blocked by Adam Larson. Pressure by the Rangers again. Squirts behind the net. Andy Green trying to get on it, but Girardi is there with the pinch. Brassard able to work it free. Here's Green battling for the puck in the corner. Comes loose. Zajac able to chip it out of the zone.
Devils finally clear. When the Rangers get it in the Devils zone against any team, not just against New Jersey, when they get going and really cycling, they are tough to contain because everybody's in sync with a lot of skill and talent. And you can't spend that much time in the end because they will make you pay.
Here's Shepard over the line. Nice hit by Green. Taken here by the Devils. Jelena behind the net. Works it loose. Picked up here by Matteau. He's sealed off, but gets the puck out to center. Jarred away from Josephson and collected here by Dominic Moore. Opening minutes of period 2. Rangers with a 2-1 lead. Devils trying to avoid the season sweep. Worked ahead. Tuomo Ruutu offside.
Go back. Devils get a good opportunity here. Jordan Tootoo on the right side gets a pass. Quick wrist shot. Cam Talbot makes the save. You see Travis Sajak right there along with Camilleri looking for the rebound. Puck just hops over them. That line as a unit really created offense for about a month of the season. Steve, I know the Devils have mixed and matched a little bit down the stretch here and tried different combinations, but you see that line back together and doing what they did so often with the Devils. That was create chances, score some goals.
Bernier over the line. I'll be surprised if Jordan Tootoo's not back next year. I mean, we never know for sure. Gomez works it free. Quick shot fired by Boucher, and that just missed. Behind the net, Scott Gomez settles up in front. Shot by Bernier. Stopped by Talbot and skated away by St. Louis.
Steve Bernier took Mark Stahl hard into the left corner. Stahl's going off very gingerly. It was a board collision, and Steve Bernier is so strong on his feet. Now we got a penalty coming.
Derek Stepan hauls down Reed Boucher, and Stepan is going to the box.
You see Reed Boucher keeps his feet moving. Stepan gets his stick caught between the legs. 2 minutes for tripping. Devils another good opportunity. Their first goal on the power play. Patrick Elias to get the Devils back in this game, and now looking to tie it up here. You see Boucher around the puck, Steve. It's all good steps forward. Yeah, you want to see him score. It doesn't happen overnight. But he's around the puck. He's making things happen. He's starting to get a little more confident. You can see it.
On the power play, Travis Zajac starts up for the Devils. Here's Henrique. Works it across. Josephson able to catch up to the loose puck. Guides it back to the point where Severson dishes off, and Josephson tried to play it down low. Oh, Tootoo takes a hard hit from Girardi. Puck taken here by McDonough, and he sends it the length of the ice.
Yeah, good play by Dan Girardi, catching Tootoo off balance, but he had body position, so Tootoo couldn't get to that puck. And that's the reason Ryan McDonough was able to clear it.
Not what the Devils want to do. They ice the puck here with 1:19 to go in the penalty to Derek Stepan. Rangers' penalty kill is very good. It's 4th ranked in the NHL at 84.8%. And this was Lou Lamoriello's team's shortcoming the other night. They went 0 for 4 in that game at the Garden. and were never really able to pull close as it got out of hand.
Well, nothing going yet on this power play, but we saw the Devils scoring their first chance on a really beautifully executed play. You mentioned it, Steve. 5 guys touched the puck, but they got to find a way to get in the Rangers' end and get set up again.
Gomez over the line, caught offside was Bernier, and another stoppage here with 1:08 left in the power play. Elias Camilleri, Jelena, Gomez and Bernier, so they opt for the 4 forwards plus the big shot of Eric Jelena on this power play. Camilleri, the Devils' leading goal scorer with 27. Jelena will start up. Opts to fire in. Turning and trying to clear the zone was Boyle. He could not. Quick shot blocked away. Collected by Camilleri on the opposite side. Mike Camilleri banks it behind the net and picks up Scott Gomez. Into the slot. Elias couldn't receive it. And here's Nash short-handed. Look out. The power move. And a save by Schneider.
Corey Schneider stayed with him. Rick Nash using that big body to shield Eric Jelena. Schneider, big save there.
Scott Gomez down low. Centering try for Elias. Almost an identical play to the goal, but back come the Rangers now the other way. Jesper Fast works it across. Glass shot blocked away. McDonough's trapped in deep in front of the net. Taken here by New Jersey.
Some fire wagon hockey late in the power play for the Devils. Rangers got a couple of chances of their own, but you're right. Devils tried to execute the same play, and Rangers read that one as Patrick Elias scored in the first one, looking for a second one in the same fashion.
Shot from the point by Larson, tipped away. Out of the box is Stepan. That's a successful kill for the Rangers. No shots on that Devils power play. Moore will work it ahead, and here's Stepan on the move for New York. Off the glass behind Schneider. Picked up here by New York. JT Miller's pass. Hunwick knocks 2-2 to the ice. Sent back in deep. Pulling the trigger and a shot from the far side was Kreider, and Schneider had to make the save.
Well, this game's got a little edge to it. Hunwick and Tutu going at it.
Green on the receiving end of this. JT Miller's the player back. Moved by Green. Couldn't pull a shot away cleanly.
Boy, oh boy, good patience and speed protecting the puck by Green.
Severson with a shot, but the whistle did blow, and let's see what we have.
Now we're going to get another penalty here, I think, to the Rangers. But this game is really taking on an edge here, Steve. There's a lot of things going on behind the play. A lot of action on the Devils power play. They've missed a chance there to connect for a scoring opportunity. The Rangers the other way. Such a quick counter-attack team, and that's Rick Nash on the breakaway, and Corey Schneider stays with him. Big hit from Jordan Tutu. Here's some of the Nash this game getting physical. Hunwick, same shift, hits Tutu. Jordan says, hello, you want to try that again on me? And I don't think Matt Hunwick wants too much to do with Jordan Tutu, as he knows what he's doing from that standpoint. And Andy Green, real nice move, almost gets a chance on it. We'll get shot off, and Adam Henrique collides with Chris Kreider. I thought Kreider was taking it originally, Steve, but it was the retaliatory side of it from Adam Henrique, and he's off to the penalty box.
Cross-check against Henrique. Zajac on the penalty kill will work it back the other way. So the penalty to Henrique at 6:32. Ranger power play so far tonight is 1 for 3. Yandel sends Fast on his way. Guided back to the point and taken here by Keith Yandel. Yandel dishes off. Collected here by Brassard. Yandel with a shot off a stick in front. Still loose and punched away by Larson.
Ooh, boy. Just in time by Larson to clear that puck as it was sitting on the doorstep on the rebound.
Zajac on the kill, heads for the bench, replaced by Camilleri. Dished across. Here's Hayes for the Rangers, holding. Kevin Hayes settles this down. One of the goal scorers tonight for New York. Gives here to Nash. Nash throws it in front, blocked away by Andy Green. Back to the point, Yandel. McDonough. Controlled by Nash's skate. Rick Nash shoots. Saved by Schneider, who holds on. The trivia question, it's brought to you by Cadillac. Which 2 players have the most multi-goal games as a Devil versus the Rangers with 4 each? My spies are telling me 1 active Devil and 1 who's not.
The active Devil, think might be self-explanatory, but I don't know about the goal-scoring prowess of certain guys. We'll have to figure that one out.
Boyle across, shot by Girardi, blocked away in front, taken here by Josephson and cleared.
Good clear here by the Devils. The Rangers, not just on the power play, any situation can really overwhelm you when you turn the puck over. The counterattack is really remarkable. You have to be alert, as we saw in the Nash shorthanded breakaway.
Fraser pins Kreider against the board. Stepan guides it back. Zajac without a stick. It's broken. Boyle plays it back. Girardi dishes off. Now Stepan back to Dan Girardi. His shot. Glove save. Schneider who's got it.
Well, you see Cory Schneider, he's given up 2 goals, and not the fault of his, but he has been really focused in on this hockey game. You see him making save after save, finding puck, stop Nash. We mentioned on a breakaway where he didn't slide too far out of the net because Nash made a terrific move. There, the glove save. And you see Mark Fraser playing hard on Chris Kreider right in front of the net. And believe me, that goes, we talked about Mark Fraser, goes a long way. Chris Kreider's been retaliating to other guys. He's not going to do that to Mark Fraser. That's the respect to defensemen like that around the net gives you. You saw Chris Kreider, when he saw it was Mark Fraser's going to look a little different as far as retaliating or going back at him, because Mark Fraser is known to be a big, tough, physical player.
Henrique's out of the box. Successful kill by the Devils. 2 shots on that Ranger power play, but the lead is still 2-1. Pass got by Elias at center ice. Devils are guilty of icing here with 11:11 to go in the second period of play.
Again, Devils dodge a bullet and go to the penalty box. You want to see that feistiness. We talked about this game taking on edge, and it should be that way. Both teams are rival. Devils playing for pride, Rangers for the President's Trophy. But Devils got to stay out of the box here, Steve, because if they get in there too many times, Rangers will make it pay. They just have too much skill and execution. And we've seen how they can overwhelm you when they get in the Devils' end and make plays.
Ranger team that's a 50-win team for the 4th time in franchise history. Somewhat more doable now in the age of the shootout. Elias guides it back, collected here by Adam Henrique. Still, a victory tonight would tie the franchise record for the Rangers for victories in a single season. 52 set by the group in 93-94. Elias will dump in here. Stahl back in his own end, gives to Hunwick. 10.5 left, second period. J.T. Miller for a streaking Mark Stahl, but the Rangers are offside. We're looking at some durable guys in tonight's game. 2 defensemen, Dan Girardi for the Rangers, Andy Green for the Devils. Blocks this season. They're both in the top 11 in the NHL coming into tonight, and they've both played every game this season. But more than that, Andy Green, you know, is playing in his 227th consecutive game. And Dan Girardi, since he made his NHL debut in 06-07, no player in the league has played more. That's the kind of guy coaches just love. They're always there.
What's amazing about it is the hard minutes these guys play against top lines. You talked about block shots. You'd think they'd be injured more often, but it's 2 guys are Ironmen that do the dirty work for their teams.
Don't worry, Dano. Green's not there yet. Shot here by Jelena is stopped by Talbot.
Once Travis Zajac passed me in that game's played, that was it. You know, he did it, so I'm no longer number 1. I know on the defense, but I'd be proud to have an Andy Green be Mr. Durable, as I shall say.
As Dano connects with his noble side, let's watch the Rangers here settle this down, and Talbot cover in the crease. 9:39 to go, second period. Devils trail 2-1. Tonight's Geico hometown hero, World War II veteran Philip McGonigal from Malden, Massachusetts. Philip joined the U.S. Army in 1943 at the age of 19 and served as a member of the Army Medical Corps. During his 3 years of service, Philip was sent to North Africa and India before settling in central Burma. Philip McGonigal from Malden, Mass. Thank you for all you do. 2-1 game here at the Rock. Our 42nd hometown hero of the year. We've done this throughout the season. We've loved that segment. Fost across, batted out of midair by Nash and covered up by Cory Schneider. Mid-second period, the Devils still have 8 shots on the board. Doesn't seem like the ice is that tilted, though, right now.
Well, Devils have been better in this second period. However, you want to get more chances. But again, the Rangers have the majority of the time, certainly in the first period, in the Devils zone. And that's why they're battling for the President's Trophy or have an opportunity to win it, Steve. They're a deep team. They're a quick team. It's not just, like I said, the foot races, but the puck movement in the Devils zone is very, very efficient.
This deflects into the bench for a stoppage in play. The New York Spring Spectacular, presented by Chase, stars the Rockettes. Laura Benanti from ABC's Nashville. Derek Huff from Dancing with the Stars. Now through May 3rd, only at Radio City. For tickets, visit Rockettes.com/spring to see the big show. Face off at center ice. Kevin Hayes, Scott Gomez in the circle. Off the draw, it's won back by Hayes. McDonough will play this ahead. Collected here by Mark Fraser. McDonough seals his man. Gomez takes the puck, works it across, and Reed Boucher for a streaking Mark Fraser. Made the move, but lost control of the puck.
So close. That was Marty St. Louis back on Mark Fraser, and Fraser came very close to making a move. You're right, Stephen, being right on top of the goaltender, Talbot.
Hayes looks for the redirection, goes into the corner instead. Punched back to the point. McDonough got rid of it quickly. Chelina hammers it out of the zone.
When you see that every once in a while from a guy like Mark Fraser, it gets everybody out because you don't expect it, and he came close to making a nice move. In fact, even him rushing over the blue line on the attack, a rare thing to see.
Picked up here by Zubris, but the eyes light up when that happens, don't they?
Well, I can relate because I certainly didn't go in the offensive zone too often, but when you make a play, it's nice.
Quick shot from the circle is fired wide by Henrique. Now Green lays it off the backboard. Larson pinching in, but Kreider got it out of the zone. Chance here, J.T. Miller gets a shot away, and Schneider is able to make the stop.
There's that speed again. Rangers get in behind the Devils' D. Real good play from Adam Henrique, though, to deter J.T. Miller just enough. You see Devils pressing, trying to get some chances. And there you see Adam Henrique with the good back check, helping out the Devils defenseman. Right here, just enough, gets a stick on Miller so he can't quite get a full shot there, or a full blast on his shot. And Adam Henrique, good job back checking.
Exactly 8 minutes to go in the period. Off the draw, kicked out by Josephson. Severson tying up Tanner Glass. It's jarred loose. Dominic Moore on the puck here. Works it behind the net. Glass. This puck deflects out of play. The pace slows a little bit here in period number 2. Faceoff will stay in the Devils' end. Hey, when Mike Camilleri was penalized for embellishment on that Matt Zuccarello shove Saturday, that marked his first penalty of any kind in 14 games. That was the singular play that upset him that night, saying, look, I'd much rather have stayed on my feet. Trust me, his past history kind of indicates that, although he did take another one early here tonight on a questionable call, right, Kenny?
Well, on a play that he didn't even know he high-stuck Ryan McDonough, who was skating through him, but these things happen. You got to be in control of your stick, whether it's accidental or not. That's the rules. I don't know if I agree with it. I think the refs should have a little more judgment on those calls.
Josephson tied up by Shepard. James Shepard back in the Ranger lineup tonight. The 26-year-old, former 9th overall pick of the Wild. It's a decision that Coach Alain Vigneault has to make, and the Devils have taken another penalty here. The puck sent over the glass for a delay of game call. Nothing Jacob Josephson could do about that.
Yeah, he knew right away, Steve, as he put his head up in the air here, right here, tries to clear that puck, and it goes over the glass, and he knew right away. You see him there going, boy, I just wanted to get that a little bit lower. Devils go back to the penalty box, delay a game, but you know, these things happen. He's just trying to get that off the glass and get it out of the zone.
Off the draw, McDonough on the puck here for New York. Ryan McDonough, shot fired wide. Nash keeps it moving, winds it around to Derek Brassard. Here's Brassard. Plays catch with Nash. Back to the point, McDonough. Able to dish off. Here's Yandle. Drops it back. Ryan McDonough's shot blocked away in front. Loose at the side of the net. Schneider sprawling, but the puck went wide. Now Brassard under pressure. Guided back. McDonough tries to punch it ahead. Picked up here by Hayes. Kevin Hayes to Nash. Here's Hayes. Elias has no stick. It's broken. Picked up here by Yandle. To the stick of McDonough. Rangers trying to take advantage. Played behind the net. Brassard to Hayes. Guided back to the point. Yandle's on the puck here. Keith Yandle dishes off. Now Hayes looking for McDonough. Big save made by Schneider. Devils trying to clear the zone. Yandle holds it. The give here to McDonough. McDonough's shot saved by Schneider. Punched away. Green hammers it out of the zone.
Wow. Patrick Elias lost his glove as well when he swept that rebound. Not quite out of his zone, but good effort from Patrick, and Andy Green finally able to clear. Devils were in trouble there with Elias no stick and Rangers moving that puck around. A couple of great chances, huge saves from Corey Schneider. And I will tell you, Ryan McDonough on the point, if you don't play through his body, he's made some terrific plays with his patience and puck handling ability. There's the huge save from Corey Schneider. It looks like it was going to be an open net down low. Take a look at it one more time. This is McDonough from a sharp angle. Schneider dives across, but McDonough at the top of the point at the blue line has made those subtle, patient plays where he fakes he's going to shoot and he ends up walking around you. If you look at the puck, it happened a couple of times, and he's done a real good job for the Rangers on the power play.
Here's Boyle starting up. Second wave of this Ranger power play includes Marty St. Louis, who's slowed up by Zubras. Bouncing puck in the Devils' end. Collected here by John Merrill and gets it out to center. Ranger power play 1 for 4 coming into this opportunity. Final seconds of the power play here. Collected by Camilleri. He sends it the length of the ice, and that'll do it. Out of the box is Josephson. A big kill by New Jersey.
Rangers with 28 shots already in this game, and you can point to the penalties the Devils have taken, but shorthanded far too many times. The Rangers have spent a lot of time in the Devils' zone, a lot of shots. Corey Schneider's been able to make some key saves.
Worked across. Here's Matt Hunwick on the puck for New York. Fost across for Hagelin. Penalty coming up. That try sent in front. Poked ahead by Bernier. Rangers have the extra attacker on. Another penalty for the Devils to kill.
Well, this is starting to get a little chippy out there. Devils going to the box for a hold, I believe, but a little extracurricular activity afterwards.
We'll set up the next Ranger power play in a moment.
Guys, you guys have been talking about it. They have to stay out of the box there. Joseph is doing his third penalty already here. But you know what the thing is? This game's here. They can get this game. The Devils got to get back to playing their style. They're trying to play physical. They're trying to run around a little bit. They need to get, kill this penalty off here, and then they have 20 minutes. If they can just play 20 minutes of their game, they may have a shot to win this thing.
Johnny, thank you. Josephson's been called for hooking, delay a game, and holding. The hold was on Carl Hagelin right in front of the bench to set up this latest chance. So the Ranger power play 1 for 5. It goes to work again. Face off back to Yandle. He and McDonough, the point men on the first wave. Elias and Zajac start the kill with Larson and Green for the Devils. St. Louis works it behind the net. Step on back to McDonough, and his shot saved by Schneider.
Well, there's that man again, the captain of the Rangers, Ryan McDonough. He's had a real good second period, a real good season for them, and there with the blast, Corey Schneider able to pick that off with his glove. But he's been dangerous, especially on the power play, every time he's touched the puck.
Off the draw, Andy Green with the clear for the Devils. Zajac and Elias to the bench. Devils execute the change up top. Here's Yandle sending Stepan on his way. The hero last night for the Rangers tries to throw it in front. Deflected off Green. Taken by Camilleri, and he'll skate this away for the Devils and clear. Stopped by Talbot, and that'll likely be registered as the Devils' 9th shot of the night. Bouncing puck at center. Taken by Larson. Tries to clear it away. The hold by San Luis. Soft shot. Oh, Kreider's stick failed him and broke up the chance for the Rangers.
Yeah, fortunate for the Devils as well as Chris Kreider's torque ended up snapping his stick. He was in a great shooting position, and he can really shoot the puck. That would have been dangerous for Schneider and the Devils.
Here's San Luis. Works it away from Zubris. Now gets it back from McDonough. McDonough again to the circle. Pass from Yandel. McDonough to the circle for San Luis. Played down low. Here's Nash. Rangers don't want to shoot just yet. Rick Nash comes off the boards. Played behind the net. Brassard back to Nash. McDonough looks for a lane. Shoots. Save made by Schneider. Picked up here by Green, and he'll send it the length of the ice.
Oh boy, Corey Schneider stabbing at a few pucks, and Andy Green, who's been a workhorse in this second period, killing penalties, able to clear that puck.
Brassard carries over the line. Crosses up with Nash. Couple of Devils to contend with. Merrill shovels it ahead. Picked up here by Bernier. He'll send it ahead for Adam Henrique. Penalty time is up. Josephson's out of the box. Henrique trying to find him, but the pass broken up. Loose at the side of the net. Henrique stays on this for New Jersey. Another successful kill for the Devils that keeps them in the game. Here's Henrique. Wraparound try, and that wouldn't go. Henrique holding. Able to control. Now knocked off his stick. Lifted away by Brassard. Nash is dangerous in this spot, and Schneider alertly gets it away. 2-2 lays it off. Zajac at center. Carries over the Ranger line. Adam Henrique throws it in front for the cutting 2-2. Knocked into the corner. Jordan 2-2 bumps with Jesper Fast. Taken here by Boucher. Shot save made by Talbot. He got it with the glove.
Cam Talbot hasn't had a lot of action in this second period, but there he makes a beautiful save on Reed Boucher. Let's look. Rangers turn the puck over in their own zone. Puck goes right to Reed Boucher in the slot. And huge glove save from Cam Talbot there. You see Jordan Tutu a little bit earlier in tight on Talbot, and he's able to steer that puck into the corner. And Cam Talbot, we talked about him in the opening, Steve, has been a real bright spot for this Ranger team, and it's nice to have two goaltenders to rely on. He's been real good, especially when Henrik Lundqvist was injured.
Signed as a free agent in 2010. From that hockey hotbed, Alabama Huntsville. Taken here by Hunwick. It got by Jesper Fast. There's another penalty coming up against the Devils. Hagelin able to control. Talbot to the bench. Hunwick gives it up. Sharp angle shot fought off by Schneider. Rangers stay with this. Girardi across for Hunwick. Missing on the hit 2-2. Matt Hunwick to Dan Girardi, to the circle. Brassard sliding to the ice. Jelena intercepting his Boucher to stop play.
It's going to be Eric Jelena, Dominic Moore, and he's gotten under the skin of a lot of Devils the last couple of games. Devils have to regain their composure, but I know it's frustrating. Eric Jelena
22, New Jersey, minor penalty.
Gave him a little bit extra in the corner, and he goes to the penalty box as well. Watch right here as these two battle a little bit here. And, you know, people don't realize, I know the Devils can't go to the box here, but he swung an elbow at him. Eric Jelena gets caught for the retaliatory penalty, and it's emotional out there. You want to see again Eric Jelena be a physical player, but he takes a penalty there.
Might be what Adam Oates is bringing to the attention of referee Kevin Pollock.
Well, it was initiated by Dominic Moore, but that's, you know, the referees usually see the retaliatory, and what do? I mean, do you defend yourself? And Eric Jelena, we know, we talked about him having to be more physical. He showed it there. Yes, he deserved the penalty. There's no question about it. The Devils are complaining maybe there should have been two coincidental minors.
This is the Rangers' 7th power play chance of the night. They're 1 for 6 so far. Final 47 seconds of the second period. Here's Kreider coming out of the corner with it to San Luis. Back to the point. McDonough's got it again. To the circle. Stepan gets it. Picked up by McDonough. 27 seconds left in the period. Elias helps break up the pass on the Rangers' retreat.
Well, Devils spending a lot of time on their end, and exactly what you talked about because of the penalty kill, but good job so far killing these penalties, and Rangers have been dangerous, had a lot of chances. Pat Galish made a good play at the blue line to clear.
Here's Stepan at the circle. St. Louis holds, tries to thread the needle in front. Quick shot save made by Schneider. Oh, he made the stop on Stepan, and Camilleri controls the puck as the period comes to an end. That was the 33rd and one of the more dangerous shots by the Rangers tonight.
Well, let's take a look at the opportunity right there in the slot. Derek Stepan has played terrific hockey for this Ranger team. Gets fed from Marty St. Louis, and Corey Schneider has had his work cut out for him through 40 minutes. He's given up 2, but he's stopped an awful lot, as the Rangers have had 33 shots already on goal through 40 minutes.
The Mavens coming up in the second intermission. Eric Church and Nitro Circus Live. Get your tickets at Ticketmaster.com. Third period is set to begin here at Prudential Center. Devils trailing the Rangers 2-1. Still 1 minute and 5 seconds of carryover penalty time in the roughing call against Eric Gelinas. The Rangers continuing their 7th power play of the evening. Just a few nights ago, New Jersey suffered its worst loss against the Rangers since October 30th, 1996. Surrendered 33 shots, but it's right there for them, Dano.
It is. They're going to need a few more shots. They're going to need to stay out of the box as the team is dangerous as the Rangers, and with their speed, eventually will make you pay. They've done a good job in the penalty kill. Corey Schneider has had to make some huge saves, but it's funny how this game works. 33-10 shots in favor of the Rangers. Last game, the Devils outshoot the Rangers and probably outchance them, yet they lose 6-1. So what do you want? You want to be in the game? It's about quality chances, scoring chances, and right now it's been more the Rangers' way, but the Devils only down 1, so there is a chance.
Yandel works it across. Nash shot fired wide. Picked up here by Brassard. 30 seconds left in the power play for New York. McDonough to Nash, and he rang it off the post. Cleared away by Larson.
Wow. Did he blast that one? Rick Nash, the 42-goal scorer, off the bar. And Devils will take that break because they have had to kill a lot of penalties here throughout this first 40 minutes in the start of this third period.
Through the first 40 minutes, they were shorthanded for nearly 14. Miller puts the brakes on, shakes loose of his man. Out of the box, Gelinas. Stop made in front by Schneider. Rebound trickles away, and it's taken here by Derek Stepan. So the Devils have killed off 6 of 7 Ranger power plays tonight as we watch Kreider at the side of the net. Stepan for Miller. Derek Stepan on the puck for New York. Checked by Fraser, continues on with the puck. Here's Kreider behind the net. Slowed up by Camilleri, but Stepan, his stick failed him. Taken away by New Jersey. Here's Camilleri on the puck. Mike Camilleri shooting, and getting just enough of that was Cam Talbot.
Cam Talbot just fought that shot off. Mike Camilleri, a pure goal scorer, shot that awfully quick and caught him off guard a little bit, but Cam Talbot, give him credit, did a real good job, Steve, on a quick, surprising shot, and he fought it off just enough.
His 11th save of the night, and a big one as Damon Severson settles this down for New Jersey. It remains a 1-goal game. Scott Gomez collects here for the Devils and dishes off for Andy Green. Devils trailed by 2 at one point in the first. Here's Bernier. Thrown into the boards by Stahl. Puck guard loose. Tanner Glass trying to work it free. Devils able to work this to the high slot. Broken up by St. Louis. Shot by Severson. Oh, a save made by Talbot. Boucher tied up by Glass. Rangers skated away, and Shepard takes the puck. Carries over the line. James Shepard puts the brakes on. Punched back. Shot blocked away in front and collected by Andy Green. He'll lift it ahead. Devils use the opportunity to change. Rangers trying to catch the minute as St. Louis. Slowed up along the near boards by Larson. Gelinas chops at the loose puck. In the corner. Hayes to Hagelin. And back to the point. Girardi for McDonough. Taken off the backboards. Hagelin battles for the loose puck. Picked up here by Stefan Matteau. Ruutu trying to find the handle on the puck. Talbot came out, couldn't play it because it was not in the trapezoid. It's taken here by Hayes instead. lifts it across looking for Hagelin, and right there was Larson to intercept. Now Ruutu back the other way. Puck comes up high on Ryan McDonough. Throws Ruutu into the boards. Taken here by the Rangers and controlled by Stepan. He gives to Hayes. Jelena back in his own end. Played 4 minutes here in the third. A 2-1 hockey game. Big games are being played to decide the last playoff berth in the East. Pittsburgh got a goal by Sidney Crosby 10 seconds into the game. A game they desperately needed. They lead Ottawa 3-0. Detroit and Carolina tied at 1 at last check. Puck loose in front. Comes up on Camilleri. Taken here by the Devils and worked out of the zone by Severson. Here's 2-2 trying to get on it. He nullifies the icing call.
Look at this third period here, almost 5 minutes in, and more of a feeling out process. Devils had to kill that penalty, but not a lot of chances. You had a lot of pucks just wide. And Steve, watching the Rangers as well, I mean, it's very interesting, and probably the best team in the league at it because of their speed. I'll get back to that.
Henrique with a shot, saved by Talbot. Looking for the loose puck. Was Jordan Tootoo. Here's Henrique again. Shooting. That's blocked away by Yandel. 2 great chances for Adam Henrique broken up.
What I was going to say is when they get the puck in their own zone, the defensemen just flip it high and let their guy skate under it like a loft pass, not worrying about if it's a tape-to-tape pass, because their wingers just fly out of the zone and stretch it, and they seem to be able to skate under it with their speed. They've gotten a lot of opportunities like that in the last 2 games against New Jersey.
Zubras throws it across for Elias. That missed. A couple of teams in the league can play that way. They appear to be one of them, the Rangers. And they're without one of the fastest guys they have tonight in Zuccarello, and you're still seeing this.
You look at Kreider, Hagelin, Nash. I mean, all these guys can really turn on the Jets.
Boucher picks up Gomez, backhander, and a stop by Talbot. Intercepted by Boucher. Throws it into the slot. Bernier knocked down by Tanner Glass.
And the reason I bring that up is how do you negate it? You got to have a defensive scheme. Oh, big hit from Tanner Glass on Eric Jelena, and he's really hurting. I'm not sure exactly what hit the boards, but this game is picked up with some chances. This is the first part of the third period on the power play. Rick Nash gets that puck off so quick. He digs one off the post. Then Adam Henrique off the broken stick from Dan Boyle. Makes a real nice play to Mike Camilleri. Quick shot. Talbot fights that one off. Good save. David Severson with a quick wrister off the back of Mark Stahl and just redirects wide. And here's the big hit Eric Jelena just took from Tanner Glass. Watch here. He's in a vulnerable position, and boy, he goes into that extension or part of the neutral zone, Steve, pretty hard there, and let's hope Eric Jelena is okay, but dangerous hit there.
He seemed to shake off the trainer Rich Stinziano at some point while Rich was attending to him, still on the ice. Eric Jelena on the Devils bench now, not to the locker room. Coming up, the Foxwoods Final 5. Foxwoods excitement every day. Last meeting between the teams this season. Devils trying to avoid the sweep of the New York Rangers this year.
Now, I was going back about their speed and the high pass or flip passes out of the zone where the guys skate under. You have to have a safety valve if you're the Devils or any team, a defenseman. And sometimes you get caught, you think you're going to stay with them, but they just have too much speed when they make that high lob pass.
Fanning on a chance, Boucher. Gomez is chased back to center ice. He's got Kevin Hayes coming hard, and he'll dish off here to Damon Severson. We played 6.5 in the third period. 2-1 game. Rangers continue with the lead. Hagelin is buried by Bernier. There's your response to some degree.
Well, this game has had an edge to it. We talked about it, and I wouldn't think it should be any other way. Again, we talk about the difference in the game now, and there's not a lot of repercussions when a guy makes a hit or a partial dirty hit. Like the old days, Steve, as I like to go back. If there was a 6-1 game either way back in the 90s when we played the Rangers,
There would have been a lot more going on than there was last game, but at least you're seeing the passion and emotion. And no, I'm not a Neanderthal. I understand the game has changed dramatically. And there's a lot of good hockey being played, but you still want to see that passion and energy from both teams.
2-2. Took it away from Nash. Punched across. All the way back in the Devils' end where Larson is back to collect this. Rangers have taken 20 more shots on goal than the Devils. It's 2-1. McDonough works it ahead, and Broussard fires it back to Dan Girardi. Lifted in by Shepard. Back to give chase is Mark Fraser for New Jersey. Rangers hold the zone. Played across to Stahl. Mark Stahl with a shot. Got through to Schneider. Got a pad on it. Collected here by Zajac and worked ahead. Stahl punches it right back the other way. Here's Fraser. Dominic Moore coming hard on him. Here's Henrique at the line for the Devils. Knocked off his stick by Stahl. Lifted in by Jacob Josephson. Ruutu will give chase. To center ice, Severson will fire right back in. Stepan plays it back. Boyle's pass intercepted by Tuomo Ruutu. Ruutu threw it across. Mateau couldn't get a stick down in time. JT Miller punches ahead for New York. Back the other way they come. Here's Chris Kreider. The power move. Never got a shot away.
Again, speed, step on the Devils deep, but Damon Severson recovered unbelievably there and did not draw a penalty. Just enough of a sweep and poke check to prevent Kreider from getting a shot on goal. There's Steve Bernier and Carl Hagelin sending him over into the Devils bench. There's been a physical period. Hagelin's no worse for wear there, but that is a response after the big hit Tanner Glass put on Eric Jelena. Steve Bernier responds, and then Kreider with that great speed, but Damon Severson just enough with a poke check, smartly wraps it around him, able to poke that puck away.
Adam Larson fires in. Here's Hunwick in the corner. Picked up here by Hayes. Plays it ahead. Hagelin puts the brakes on. Picks up the trailer in San Luis, but swept off his stick by Boucher. Reed Boucher darts back the other way. He's got Gomez cutting in front. Boucher for Larson. Save made by Talbot. Loose at the side of the net. Gomez trying to find the handle. Puck winds around. Larson's got it again. Adam Larson's shot blocked in front by Hunwick, who shovels it away.
Smart play by Reed Boucher. Started in the defensive zone, pickpocketing Marty St. Louis on a real nifty play. And then he comes back the other way and sets up Adam Larson.
Yandel the stretch pass. Fost on the puck here for New York. Knocked down to the ice by Eric Jelena. His first shift since being shaken up a few moments ago as Henrique carries ahead for the Devils. Here's Adam Henrique over the line, taken off his stick, and Fost back the other way. 2-on-2, got Broussard with him and opts to wind it in. Henrique waits for it. Outlet pass, Elias. Didn't control it cleanly. Reaching up, Henrique. Able to gain the attacking zone. Picked up here, Zubris. Dinas Zubris loses control of the puck. Shepard for New York has got it. James Shepard slowly into the Devils' end where Green back to collect this. Sealed off by Tanner Glass. Better than halfway through period 3. Rangers still with the 2-1 lead. Shot from the far side. Stopped by Schneider. Another try by Dominic Moore went wide. Moore again. Controls. Throws it in front. They score! From the sharp angle it got by Schneider.
Well, the fourth line for the New York Rangers do it again, as they did a couple of nights ago, and they contribute offensively to give the Rangers a 2-goal lead again. This one, you mentioned, Steve, they had the great chance originally in the slot. Then Dominic Moore with Shepard going hard to the net. Good things happen when you go to the net. His stick's on the ice, but Dominic Moore just fires that puck from the corner toward the front of the net. And I'm not sure if this banked off anybody. Oh boy, I think James Shepard got a piece of that, Steve, to redirect it between the legs of Corey Schneider, and that's what I meant. James Shepard gets position. He's got a stick on the ice, and that's a bonus when your fourth line contributes. Big goal
For the New York Rangers, they take a 2-goal lead, but James Shepard did a real good job to get his stick on that puck.
Now Zajac with his team down 2. Knocked off him and stick by Girardi. Taken here by Merrill instead. Wrist shot, glove by Talbot. McDonough works it across. Travis Zajac. Pass broken up by Kreider and taken here by Girardi. If they give the goal to Dominic Moore, that's his 3rd in the last 2 games against the Devils. Pass for Kreider broken up. Back comes New Jersey as Merrill shovels it ahead for Mike Camilleri. He's got Zajac with him. Played across. Bernier throws it in front. Deflected. Talbot trying to find the handle. They score.
Oh, my.
Bernier in front. And the Devils get the deficit restored to 1.
Well, you like the Devils coming right back after going down 2 and showing some resolve here. Zajac to Bernier. He just gets that puck out in front and it caroms off the Ranger defenseman, I believe. Let's take a look right here. You see Bernier fire that puck toward that. It's Brassard. He tries to shovel it out, and I think this might have deflected off of Talbot. Oh boy, Talbot and Brassard collided. They're desperately trying to clear that puck, and the Devils get a break as it caroms in off of one of those guys, and we've got a 1-goal hockey game again.
Now Elias for New Jersey. Picks up Henrique. Adam Henrique. Shooting save made by Talbot. And picked up by Fost. Here's Fraser to Zubris. Rangers complete a change as Dyna sends it in deep. Here's Scott Gomez trying to tie up Boyle. 3-2 game here in the 3rd. Under 8 minutes to play. Here's Hayes for New York. For a cutting Carl Hagelin. This time defended well by Andy Green.
Well, Andy Green's one of the rare defensemen that can keep up with the Rangers' speed because of his mobility, Steve, and movement side to side.
We'll step aside at the Rock. 3-2, Rangers in front. The question and answer time. Which 2 players have the most multi-goal games as a Devil versus the Rangers with 4 each? To do it 4 times, you have to play a lot of games against that team. I'll just say Patrick Elias and John McLean. Dano?
It's got to be Patrick Elias, and after that, your guess is as good as mine.
How about Scott Gomez and Kirk Muller?
Wow. Scotty Gomez. And the former captain of the New Jersey Devils, now assistant coach in St. Louis. My good buddy Kirk Muller. Terrific hockey player in his own right.
Thanks, guys. Under 7.5 to go. Icing negated. Boucher in front. Picks up Bernier and a floater that goes high over the net. They're giving the Devils goal to Steve Bernier. Gomez with a shot. Talbot with a save, and he picks it out of midair.
Well, Steve Bernier's really turned it on in the 3rd here. He earns everything he gets. He works hard. Gets the Devils with 1, and he almost gets another right here. Beautiful pickup of that pass off his skate, Steven. Just shovels it up high, the puck. And there's the shot from Gomez, redirects, and Bernier's right in front as Talbot gloves it down, but real good response by New Jersey, and they are battling here to get the equalizer.
Jelena throws it in front, blocked away by Talbot. Shepard in the corner for New York, lost control of the puck. Zajac pulls the trigger in a shot that went wide. Comes back to Merrill, he fires, and that's wide as well, and caroms away. Jelena back in his own end. Here's Merrill to center ice. Camilleri kicked at the loose puck and off Shepard as it deflects out of play. The game recap brought to you by Tri-Honda Dealers. Kevin Hayes with a goal and an assist. Ryan McDonough with a power play goal. He's turned it on lately. Elias with a power play goal. First New Jersey power play goal in the last 6 at home. Rangers led 3-1, and then Bernier with the goal to make it a 1-goal game again. Yandel fires into the Devils' end. Here's Schneider to the stick of Larson. Taken in front of the shot by Brassard is saved by Corey Schneider. He's been busy from the get-go tonight. On the Shepard goal, his 7th of the season, give the assist to Moore and Stahl. On the Bernier goal, his 14th, Zajac and Camilleri get the helpers at 11:32. The goals were just 51 seconds apart. Eliash sends it behind the net. Dinas Zubris looks to guide it back to the point. Intercepted by Nash and lifted away. Devils have had 7 penalties called against them in the game, excluding fighting and misconducts. That's tied for the most they've had in a single game this year. Camilleri, Zajac at the side of the net. They can't pull a shot away. Picked up here by Stepan, who punches it ahead for New York. J.T. Miller into the zone where Merrill is back to give chase. John Merrill comes away with the puck. Works it ahead, and 2-2. On the move for New Jersey will fire in. Stepan checked by Camilleri. Puck winds around, taken here by New Jersey. Jelena with a try that's blocked away. Severson across for Camilleri. Stahl can't play it out of the zone. Now 2-2 instead. Battles for the puck. Won by Stahl and taken here by Kreider. And Hayes will fire in. 5 minutes left in regulation time. Green starts up. Here's Scott Gomez over the line. Works it ahead just off the stick of Andy Green. Tried to center one, but the Rangers punch it away, and here's St. Louis. Works it across. Hagelin with a step. Shooting, and he fired wide.
I tell you, Devils in the last 5 minutes here have shown a lot of speed on their own. As Scott Gomez, Andy Green flying through the neutral zone, almost connected. Green in tight.
Moore. Centering try, looking for Hagelin, getting a stick on it, Schneider, and he'll stop play with 4:25 left. Devils need a goal to tie the home finale. Watching the Foxwoods Final Five. Foxwoods excitement every day. Visit foxwoods.com. 3-2 Rangers, 4:25 left in the third period of play. Some of the playoff picture could be clarified tonight. We see Ottawa trailing in its game tonight against Pittsburgh 3-1. If the Senators lose, the Islanders clinch a playoff berth. New York trailing in its game against Philadelphia as Merrill plays it ahead, taken here by Zubris. Devils looking for the tying goal. McDonough slows up Zubris. Talbot winds it around. Picked up here by the Rangers. And Broussard punched it across. Hacking at it, Rick Nash, but taken here by Henrique. He lifts in. Eliash will give chase. Tied up by Girardi. Henrique deep in the zone. Has McDonough to contend with. Now Fost. Bumped by Severson. Puck taken away by Tutu. Jordan Tutu works it across. Settled down by Merrill. His stick failed him. Taken by the Rangers instead. Fost will dump in. Rangers execute the change with 3.5 to go. Severson across, and here's Eric Jelena to center. Tutu laid it off, but Shepard pokes it the other way. Here's Jelena back in his own end. Travis Zajac lifts it across. Camilleri trickles it ahead. Now Zajac carries over the Ranger line. He'll go wide on Stahl. Pass intercepted by Boyle. Tries to wind it out of the zone. The pinch by Jelena. Stahl seals off his man. Now works the puck free. And Tanner Glass can't get it out of the zone. The hold by Jelena. Bouncing puck collected here by the Devils. Zajac back to Jelena. His shot is fired wide.
A real good job at the blue line from Eric Jelena twice. And that pinch and that hard hit was on none other than Tanner Glass. So Eric Jelena, after him getting rocked from Tanner Glass, gave it right back there, Steven. It was a good hit, and then he kept the puck in again with a real nice poke check.
Girardi works it ahead, off the stick of Boucher, and out to center. Steve Bernier taken away by Stepan. Back checking is Boucher to deny him. Now Larson works it out to center. Dan Girardi is on the puck. Rangers can clinch the President's Trophy if they win. The Devils do not want to see that happen in their house. A compelling last 2 minutes and a dozen seconds to go. Blocked away by Schneider. Here's Kreider on the puck. Taken by Larson. Boucher Works it across. Scott Gomez on the receiving end. Darts into the Ranger zone. Works it across. Boucher, the trailer. To the bench goes Schneider. And while Merrill plays the puck, Devils get the extra attacker on. Lost control. Hayes has the puck. Works it across. Hagelin scores into the empty net.
Devils unable to handle the puck in their own zone, and Carl Hagelin seals this game as he scores 1:48 left to give the Rangers a 2-goal lead. You see John Merrill right there, just fans on that pass, and it goes right to Carl Hagelin. That's too bad. The Devils were really starting to come on and have played extremely hard to get within one. Almost tied it up on a few occasions, and just a pass to John Merrill went off of his heel as he was trying to feed Damon Severson, and he fanned on it.
4-2 Rangers. Minute and a half to go. 2-2 busts into the zone. Centering try by 2-2, picked up instead by Dominic Moore, who hammers it out of the zone. Here's Severson for the Devils. Now they need 2 to tie. Glass trying to take the puck away. Henrique trying to pull the trigger on a shot. Collected instead at the point. Severson's shot got through to Talbot, and he made the save. 2-2, checked in the corner by Glass. Behind the net, here's Elias. Guided back to the point, worked across by Fraser. Severson's shot, and that's fired just wide. Hacked at by Nash. Elias trying to hold the zone with a minute to play. Schneider is staying in goal as Glass sends it back into the Devils' end.
Well, good pressure there by New Jersey again, trying to
Nash, backhand try, blocked in front.
get within one, Steve. There was a little bit of time left, but unable to get it past Talbot.
Gomez carries over the line, shoots, and he fired wide. Back to the point, Larson off the skate of Camilleri, punched ahead, the long pass for San Luis, slowed up by Schneider. Final 24 seconds perhaps. Cutting across is Hayes, and Schneider there to deny him. The Rangers are on the verge of winning the President's Trophy for the first time since their last Stanley Cup winning season in 1994. They will have home ice advantage for as far as they last in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and the Devils lose in the home finale here by the final of 4-2. Alain Vigneault has won the President's Trophy 2 other times in his career as head coach of the Vancouver Canucks. It didn't work out well either time. They lost to Boston in the Cup final in 2010-2011, lost to the Kings in the first round in 11-12. Cam Talbot has a special moment here. It'll be Henrik Lundqvist, the #1 in the playoffs, of course. But Talbot wins a game of significance here down the stretch. The Rangers fired 40 shots at the Devils' net, and the last time this Devils team will salute the fans here at Prudential Center as they gather up near the center of the ice.
As you see the Devils in the middle of the ice, and this last home game of the year is not the way they wanted it to end, Steve, but 2 more left in Florida, and they will continue to fight hard.
Lexus has the upcoming schedule. The final 2 are the trip to Florida at Tampa Bay on Thursday. The Lightning still have a chance to win the Atlantic Division. That's a big game. MSG Plus will have it for you. And then Saturday night, the conclusion of the Devils season against the Florida Panthers at 7 o'clock.
The goal of the game is brought to you by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop at ChooseNissan.com. The goal of the game is going to be the 3rd goal and the game winner as James Shepard goes hard to the net with his stick on the ice, and Dominic Moore just fires it toward the net. And this one is tipped between the legs of Corey Schneider, and that's your Nissan goal of the game and the game-winning goal for the New York Rangers.
John McClain, Deb Placey coming your way with the Jag Physical Therapy postgame show. Devils Lightning Thursday. We'll see you in Tampa. Stamkos and the Lightning await the Devils on that night.